wondered why you struggle with self-confidence? Do you struggle with self-confidence? Even if you're an individual who's very confident, it's very common for all of us at different times in our lives to maybe be knocked off of our game a little bit. Maybe we had something that happened to us that just caused a little bit of a setback that actually knocked us off of our confidence. And I know, I'm speaking from that personally, because I know that that has happened to me many times throughout my life. And so for that reason, I want to talk to you about that today. Let me start with a proper introduction. I'm Connie Jo Holmes. I'm the founder of BU2BFULL Hypnosis and Coaching. And in that capacity, I am a certified life coach, health coach, as well as a certified hypnotherapist. And so because of that, I really, my message is that I am an expert within the mind, body, and spirit. And in that, I teach individuals how to confidently and courageously move from reacting to life to owning your life. And one great way of doing that is to be fully confident and fully empowered. That's a great way to go to reacting to owning. So now let me get into the content of this video. But before I really do, let me just ask you, if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel as well. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So I wanted to give this video today because I've given this presentation a few times, and I just gave it recently, and it was received very well. So I thought, you know, I want to share it with this audience. And I do need to tell you, in the description box, you will find a link for an ebook on this very topic that can fill in any gaps that I'm not going to cover in this brief video. So be sure you check that out, because it's a really good ebook with some great detail. So right now I am going to talk about why we struggle with self-confidence. And I have really boiled it down to 5 reasons, okay? And so the very first one is, you know, maybe we are not always successful with certain things. You know, maybe we have tried something and it didn't quite go as we had planned. And if we allow that, that can actually, you know, knock us off of our game just a little bit. And, you know, and that's quite frustrating. It can be a little bit debilitating, that type of thing. So what I want to tell people when this does happen, because it will happen, we're not always going to knock every single thing we try out of the ballpark. So when we do have something that disappoints us a little bit, it didn't go as we had envisioned, it's very important to remind ourselves that, you know what, this is just a learning opportunity, a growing opportunity, and to really take it for that. Because if you've watched any of my videos, you know I say very often, everything in life is either a blessing or a lesson. And I really firmly believe that. And so if something didn't go as planned, or even if something did go as planned, it's important to take a time out and really evaluate what happened. All the good things that happened, as well as all the things that could have been done better. Because then what you do is you apply those learnings to the next time you do it. So I like to say too, I had heard this from a friend of mine about, you know, failure is feedback. And I really like that a lot. So that's, you know, tip number 1. Tip number 2 about why people might not feel confident is we actually compare ourselves to others. I like to say comparing yourself to others is the gateway to depression. So do not let that happen to you. Instead, if you're going to compare yourself to someone else, use it to actually catapult you into what you can do. I always like to tell people that if you ever, you know, because sometimes when you compare yourself to others, you can find yourself being jealous or envious. And I like to tell people when that happens to really use that as motivation, to seriously know and believe that if Susie Q can do it, so can you. And you might not want to do the exact same thing Susie Q did, but at least use, you know, her willpower, her strength, her diligence, you know, whatever that you're observing, and apply that to what you want to accomplish. Another big tip here that I like to tell people is when you actually find yourself envious or jealous of somebody, really question, what is it that you're jealous of? The story in my ebook is, you know, if you see somebody who is a best-selling published author and they're off on a world tour and they're on, you know, all these, you know, talk shows and the news channels and, you know, just all these different things. And so they're traveling the world and they're making all this money and all this stuff. And you find yourself really envious of that. Stop and ask yourself, what exactly are you envious of? Is it the fame? Is it the fortune? Is it the recognition? You know, what is it? Or you might find what you're actually envious of is that person's commitment and their drive and their motivation to have written the book to begin with. Those two things are quite different. And so that's why it's important to just pause and question, why are you envious? Because of that, use that and have that drive you forward. So the other reason why I think people struggle with being confident is we have faced trauma in our life. Trauma is a big issue, and everyone has faced trauma at some time in our lives. And some are, I don't even want to say big and obvious, because I don't want to qualify trauma at all. If you have experienced it, it's yours. And so there's no measuring trauma or anything like that. So what I really want to say here, my most important thing here is remember that if you suffered something traumatic, that is something that happened to you. It does not define you. That is probably my biggest message I have with trauma. It happened to you. It does not define you. And then furthermore, with defining you, I think it's very important for people to remember to not label ourselves. Don't label yourself as, I'm a depressed person. Instead, maybe say, this happened to me right now and I'm feeling a little depressed right now. Yes, you're still using the word depressed or depression, but you're acknowledging that you're feeling it right now, which means that you can unfeel it down the road once you process it and seek whatever support you need to, versus labeling yourself as an anxious person or a depressed person or something like that. So again, my ebook goes into that in a little bit more detail. So then the other thing why I think people can lack self-confidence is they are fearful or they're shy. And the main thing I have to say with this, I have other videos that talk about courage and being fearful and whatnot. Actually, my second book in a series is titled "Be to Be Fearless," because this is such a big topic. Fear holds us back. And, fear is the difference between just living a kick-ass life that you've always dreamed of versus living small. And I don't know, I could go on and on about fear, but I guess what I want to say here, coupled with self-confidence, is the way you build self-confidence when you're fearful, when you're shy, when you're timid, is to just start small. Set a small goal to do something and then go out and tackle it. Does not have to be perfect, because again, that goes back to point number one. Sometimes we're not always successful, but whatever learnings you have from that, apply it to the future when you go out and set another goal, and this time you're going to reach it. So with anything in life, but especially with growing the courage muscle, I really strongly encourage start small, baby steps. Get yourself a quick win. I know in the business world, everyone talks about the low-hanging fruit, and that's kind of what this is. Grab something that's a low-hanging fruit that you can eat right away, that you can tackle right away, so that you can then use that experience and those learnings for the next one. So that's a good way to start to overcome some fear so that you can build up this self-confidence that I think is very, very important. And then the last one is lack of experience. And with lack of experience, I really want to say we all had to start somewhere. The first time I did a YouTube video, oh my God, I probably had 900 takes. And then when I got done with it, it probably wasn't perfect anyway. There's no such thing as perfection. Perfection is done. Okay. But anyways, so lack of experience, if you think about it, we all have to start somewhere. And anyone who is successful, if you look at anyone who's successful, whatever that means to you, and if you were to talk to them, they would tell you that the first time they did whatever that made them successful, if they were to go back and look at it, they might be a little embarrassed because they have just come so far. And so a lot of times, and this goes back to comparing ourselves too, so many times people see, the end result. They don't see the years and years and years of trying and working towards it and all those types of things. A lot of times when someone comes out, they see the finished project. So I'm going to tell you, I published a book in late 2019. And so Okay, here's my book, it's all done. But nobody saw the hours and hours and hours of typing and deleting and typing and trashing this and coming back and all that stuff. People don't see that. So that's another reason why we should never compare ourselves, because we usually see the end result. We don't see all the inner workings. But tying it back to this point, which is lack of experience, you have to do something. It's in the act of doing that we get our experience. So, all right. So 5 tips for how to, overcome any setbacks that we might have if we are currently not feeling confident, or else if we're normally a confident person, if we got knocked off of our game a little bit. So just to recap, it is just remembering that, maybe we haven't always been successful, but that's okay. Overcome that. Stop comparing ourselves to others. Trauma is something that happened to you. It does not define you. Fear, knock that crap out. Just build that courage muscle. And then lack of experience. You're not going to get anywhere or build that experience unless you do. So, all right, I hope this was helpful. And if any of this resonates with you, if you are somebody who currently, has a little bit of a hard time with confidence, that is my specialty. So I can definitely help you with one-on-one coaching. Also, I can bring in hypnotherapy with that as well. And then also, please, down below, one, get your ebook, because it's all about this topic, but also please look at my events page, because I have a slew of different events coming out throughout the year that they're all different, of course, but building our self-confidence is the underlying message with all of them. And also, please check back regularly, or at least, subscribe to my information, because I will talk about it as I add new things throughout the year. All right, I hope that was helpful. And again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Take care.